We're focusing on little dots.
Yeah. Well, I don't think it's going to be a problem. We had a really good energy talking to you last night, and I know you're a wealth of knowledge, and it's a privilege just to talk to you here at this museum during Quest for the West.
Yep.
Compared to where I started, at the Indian market here in 2012, to be at this level with these artists is pretty amazing.
You earned it, dude.
Yeah, because a lot of people they fizzle out. People come and go in the native art world.
Yeah.
And I was talking to Cliff Fragua, the sculptor. And he was set up right across from me, and he was like, "Yeah, some people come into this game, they're hot for a couple of years, and then you never hear from them again."
Yeah.
And it happens. I've seen it.
Yeah.
So it's longevity of the game is something to strive for.
Yeah, it's commitment.
Yeah, it is commitment.
That's the thing.
Yeah. There's so many times where I was like, I just, life's too tough. Life gets in the way of art. Yeah. And you got to do other things to make ends meet. And I held down a job for many years, and then finally gave it up in 2018. And I've just been making paintings every day since. And there's that internal struggle. Is it worth it? Is it worth going through this hardship and going through the mental turmoil? Is it good enough to show in public?
Yeah, and just you got to live, right? And
and
have a struggle this
wife
long.
And kids, and
right,
and then life changes in between. It's a curse and a blessing, but you got to take it all. The good with the bad. I guess you can't really truly appreciate, the pleasantries of life without having to go through some rough times.
Yeah, the struggle does add something to life, whatever it is, and whether it's the struggle of financial or grief or any of those things that mold you. It shows, especially for an artist.
I think it comes across in the paintings,
For sure.
And without that, there's a certain richness and vitality that I think some of the things lose.
Yeah.
And it's just another picture,
Yeah.
But if something really draws you in, there's something deeper there, I think, on an emotional and psychological level, that is that touches people. And when someone that I don't even know reaches out to me and says that this touched them in this way, or they were going through some sort of struggle and it took them out of their place of misery, for a few seconds, and somehow enrich their life, man, that's better than gold to me.
Yeah, that's a rare thing. That's a cool thing.
I had some work in my tribal hospital. It's the Council Oak Comprehensive Health Care Center in Tulsa.
Yeah, and you're Muskogee Creek.
Yeah, Muskogee
right?
Creek. Yeah. I'm from Oklahoma.
We haven't even introduced you. We probably should.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Starr Hardridge. So, Starr, I've known you for
couple of years.
2 years. Yeah, I met you in New York City. Actually, the first time I ever met you was at New Horizons event that Phillips
New Terrains
that Phillips was putting on. Yeah. And I remember seeing your painting, going, "What the hell? That's awesome, man!" I didn't even know you. I didn't know anything. I just saw the painting, and it just stopped me in my tracks. I was like,
I definitely knew who you were. I follow the podcast. I've heard the Medicine Men Gallery. I definitely know of the artists that you represent, and
I know who you are now. Let me tell you.
Well,
as of that night.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and thanks to Tony Abeda for putting me on that show.
Yeah,
I felt that I was way out of my league with a lot of the artists that was there, so it was definitely an honor to be in that space and hold space with those other great Native artists, and to be put on that platform for sure.
Yeah, and you held your own, trust me.
I appreciate that.
That was one of my most favorite pieces in that whole show.
Yeah.
And there was some heavyweights, Cannon,
well, I mean, just to be in the same
George
room
Morrison,
with Fritz Shoulder and T.C. Cannon, as well as Ken Monkman and all the contemporary people that are in that show, and many of them I know and have been showing in close proximity for the past 10 years. Yeah, so it's great to see those artists be elevated with the giants,
right.
whose shoulders we stand upon.
Yeah.
In the contemporary native art world.
Yeah. But you didn't grow up always as an artist, or did you? So
No,
yeah.
I think the soul of an artist has been in me since the very beginning. I don't know where it came from. There's really no other artists in my family. But drawing and painting and making things with my hands is something that I've always done.
Like from a kid, right?
Yeah, from a kid. I think I was probably, 9 or 10 years old, sitting in school. I think we were watching a instructional program on TV during art class on how to draw shapes and
Right.
shading and things like that. And I was like looking at my drawing, and I was like, I think my stuff is kind of better than everybody else's.
Yeah.
And I think I won a chalk drawing contest when I was about 9 or 10 years old. And I was like, this is something that I can do. I get, praise for it, And
Over and over again, I see that in artists.
Yeah.
They win something in like the 2nd to 5th grade.
Yeah. And I have a twin brother. So there was a competitive edge.
Yeah.
That always, is like, I can do something that you can't,
Right.
And I think that was one of the things that kept me wanting to be better and better and better, because I always felt that I had to prove myself in a way.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, I saw the more I did something and worked at it, it actually became something bigger and better.
Yeah. And where was this you were growing up?
I spent a lot of my younger years in central Oklahoma. My father was I was born in Texas and raised early years in southeast Oklahoma. My dad was a foreman on a ranch around Durant, Oklahoma, and then he went into the oil field business, and we lived in Anadarko, Chickasha, Enid, and then settled in Blackwell, Oklahoma. It's up in central Oklahoma towards the Kansas border. And I went through all my grade school there. I moved to Oklahoma City. And,
so you had it all, yeah.
Yeah, we've been all the way around the state.
Yeah, and you also had a diverse, tribal relationship too, because there's a lot of different tribes from Anadarko to Enid.
Exactly. It's all Southern Plains down there, and then up and around Blackwell, you got Ponca and Kaw.
Right.
And so I was definitely outside of the Creek Nation. Yeah. So I didn't necessarily grow up around my culture. I grew up more around Plains culture. Yeah. So long before I went to a stomp dance, I went to powwows and saw that sort of thing.
Right.
But Native American art, Indian art has always been in my life before. I knew who Monet and Picasso and all the European artists. I knew who, Rance Hood was, Larry Hood, Woody Big Bow, all the flat painters. That was my first introduction to art, was flat painting, and still has profound effect on the way that I approach painting.
In what way?
In what way? Probably the graphic sense. I mean, even in some of the paintings that are in this show, if you look at some of the cloud formations and things, they're very simplified.
Yes, that's
you got circles and flat spaces, linear lines that reflect the horizon line, and there's sort of a stacking gradation of color that the flat painters used to define, I think the space, and then just probably flat fields of color in some of the paintings. So I'm mixing some realism with some two-dimensional backgrounds. Like there's one painting of like a mother and child. It's called Hadichi, which means wait in Muskogee Creek language. The actual title is Hadichi Tejet Hadichi, and Tejet means one who makes the fire. So this girl's got sort of a fiery personality, and that's her name actually. Right. And her mother's kind of calming her down and telling her to wait. But if you look in the background, it has these the billowy kind of thunderheads that are illustrated with just circle shapes. Right. And it's much like the blue deer painting that you see up here. And the backgrounds are very similar. Yep. And then in the landscape, it's just really just bands of color, and that's to emulate sort of in the landscape of central Oklahoma, you have a lot of agriculture, and it's like bands of green belts going off into the horizon. And if you see them, they gradiate back into space.
Right.
And that's kind of what I'm emulating in those paintings. Another influence of that landscape aspect is I'm thinking of fabrics, particularly the Pendleton blanket. And if you turn a Pendleton blanket and you see the gradations of color and line work, I'm using those aspects into the landscape themselves. I mean, that's really what I'm thinking about, is the lines and the bands of color in Pendleton blanket.
Yeah, it reflects the land for you too.
Yeah,
and the history.
The history, and just the blanket itself is used in so many ways in Native culture.
Yes.
Through marriages and births and funerals.
Yeah, all of that.
It's the whole circle of life that's represented by that item.
Yeah, and I think those are some of your strongest works when they have that imagery in the background, like the one you have in this show. You know, you and I were talking about, but that I mean, it's like a Peasley kind of a imagery that comes from 1890s time frame.
Oh, you're talking about the floral background?
Yes.
Yes. The piece that you're talking about is called Shadow of Indian Country.
That's it.
And there's
love that painting.
The background is something that I've been using lately, is the old William Morris patterns. It's British colonial wallpaper that was popular in the 1880s.
Yeah. And it feels that way too.
Yeah, it has, and there's a slight antiquing glaze over the top of it.
Cool.
It's sort of browns out the color itself, because when I painted it, the colors are very saturated, straight out of the tube, and you know, the white or linen white that I'm using is just much too bright, and I wanted the maximum highlight to be in the face and not on the wallpaper. So after the background was finished, I took a brown glaze and did sort of a scumbling glaze over the top of it with a cheesecloth, made it soft, and pushed it into the background.
And it does.
Yeah.
Yeah, she pops and it's back there.
Exactly, exactly.
In fact, when I looked at that painting, I'm looking at her, I'm focused on that, and then my eye goes to the upper left, and it's like, oh yeah, no, that's something. That really is important to this painting. It makes the painting in a very subtle way.
Some of the areas, especially like the lower part, are much darker, and I tried to lighten it up and bring out some brighter turquoise colors that are coming out in some of the areas. And so a lot of that, the technique was derived from my years as a decorative painter. So I've brought a lot of information from being a faux finisher, decorative painter, into my fine artwork.
Yeah, let's back it up because we popped forward. But
sure.
So you go to all these places. Your dad works for oil wells, oil rigs.
Yeah.
That's a tough job.
He was a roughneck.
He's a roughneck. Okay, so I know what that means growing up in eastern New Mexico. So that's a hard job. That's a physical job.
Oh yeah, he fell off a derrick of a rig one time, and during a lightning storm.
Oh my God.
And caught the wire that goes all the way to the bottom, and it was covered in ice. And he rode it all the way to the bottom, and landed on his feet, broke his back, broke his knees. You know, survived.
Oh my God!
But
how old were you when that happened?
Oh man, I was probably 10 or 11.
Yeah, because that's a big major thing.
Yeah, he was in the hospital, and it was a big deal, and you know, but I mean,
he could go back to work after that.
No, he went on workers' comp, and you know, just kind of like physically, he kind of went through a down period for a number of decades afterwards.
I understand.
I would say.
Yeah. So, but that's your background, what you're going through too, as a teenager and all that.
Oh yeah, but the art was always there, and it's gotten me through some hard times, and So the decorative painting thing came out of basically necessity. You know, I went to art school.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah. So I was in high school and I wasn't doing great, but the one thing
You're an artist.
It was always, I was a senior in high school and I had like 3 art classes. I had study hall that was art,
classic.
The art AP class, and then some other art thing.
Yeah.
But I wasn't a great student. Got in a lot of trouble and was a restless person.
Yeah.
And my only solace was art. And I think my grandfather wanted me to be a Marine, so he wanted to send me to the Marines.
Oh, God.
And I was like, please, this is just not me.
Yeah.
My twin brother ended up going to the Marine Corps, and my other brother. And anyway, I begged him to send me to art school, and I lied and told him I would go study architecture.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And he's like, well,
that's a job.
You got an uncle that has a pretty good living, so he was into that,
Yeah.
So I was supposed to go there and study architecture. I got there and I was like, well, he's like, do anything but be a painter, because he was for certain that I was going to be poor. And I was like, well, I cut the cake in half. I was like, look, can I just be an illustrator and go into commercial art? And he liked the idea of that. So we settled.
What school was this that you went?
We settled to Savannah College of Art and Design.
Okay.
I had grown up in Oklahoma and spent some time in Kentucky in my teenage years, and I saw art school near the beach, and I fell in love with the whole idea.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So I had to, get some loans and work my way through school, and but went to Savannah in the early '90s. I guess it was '94 to '97.
Yeah,
and just loved it. It was great. You had kids from all over the United States, international students.
Yeah, all loving
it was
art too.
right in the height of rave culture and the rebirth of psychedelic hippie culture, and just really high level artists, and then a lot of kids that were just there to goof off. But it was such a growth period for me. I took my very first landscape painting class there. The first time I heard the word Maynard Dixon was in I think 95.
All right.
And I was taking a landscape class. A guy named Brigham Dimmick, and great teacher, and that kind of really got me excited about painting the world around me. But one of the more important things that happened is that I was in Georgia, and I was able to see the ancestral homelands of the Muskogee Creek Nation, which is in Old Mulkey, Macon, and saw the great mound complexes that they had built. And growing up in Oklahoma, I'd never seen anything like that. And didn't really know too much about my culture, and especially Mississippian culture. So this really kind of blew my mind and opened up ideas about
who am I?
What the civilization was like, and how it had changed, in present times.
Yeah.
But the school was fabulous. Really broadened my mind, sharpened my skills. But I got out of there, and I didn't know how to make a living. They didn't really teach you how too much. You take one little small marketing class at the end of your senior year, and they expect you to go make a living. And I got out and started painting houses. That's for a number of years, and did a few murals and just artsy things, and ended up getting a job at the Seelbach Hotel in Louisville, Kentucky, and I was doing I was like the assistant to the lead painter there, and ended up meeting my future wife during that time, and she was a decorative painter. She was a faux finisher.
Okay.
And she was studying out of books like all these European faux marble and faux wood designs and things, and marquetry and stencil design. First person I'd learned about William Morris, these classical patterns, was from her. She had a William Morris pattern book, and she just kind of opened up my mind as far as graphic arts, historical, decorative arts, trompe l'oeil and murals, and a lot of European influences that I'd never been exposed to. So,
Yeah,
I mean, this was a really,
I can
really,
understand where you're coming from Oklahoma,
yeah,
small Oklahoma.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's not rich in sophisticated culture. It has its own, sophistication in a certain way. But growing up in Oklahoma, I was exposed to art, and I went to the Cowboy Hall of Fame and saw these historical artists as well as Native American art, and it all was compounding over the years.
Yeah, it is
kind of creating this kind of amalgam of art in my mind, and so I met my future wife, and we became partners and as a decorative painting team.
Okay.
And she had connections in the East Coast, and we ended up commuting to New York and Connecticut, and did work in the tri-state area for many years, and ended up moving there. And we raised a couple of kids in Connecticut. And before that, we traveled to Europe and studied with some European decorative masters. And that really influenced, my technique, style, broadened all kinds of horizons.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, yeah. And I studied things over there.
Oklahoma, right?
Yeah. I mean, they were. We were like, "Where's this person from?" I spoke horrible French, and but it was great to be exposed to all those things. It allowed me to visit the Louvre and go see all the villas in Italy and Musée d'Orsay in Paris, and to see the things that I only read about in books. It was living in my art history class. Except it was real. To see Luncheon on the Grass by Seurat,
right. Do you think that was a big influence? I mean, I think knowing what you do.
Seeing those impressionist painters put a seed in the back of my head.
Yeah.
When I was a freshman in college, my uncle had taken me to the Dallas Museum of Art, and I saw the Monet exhibit of water lilies.
Yeah,
and that really had a significant. Really significant impact on my color sensory, and the way everything was working. And for me, color theory and the way color works in nature is extremely important. To have a term that I use is color gymnastics. The way color bounces around a composition and complements and soothes. Even just subtle tonalist things are exciting to me, and it has a great impact. And so these were all seeds that would later manifest themselves in the pointillism, which didn't really come till later in my career. I struggled as an artist for many years trying to find the right thing.
Yeah.
I worked with graphic stuff, and I worked with resin, trying to do ethereal, abstract things for many years. And I came back from Europe and went back home to Oklahoma to visit my family and spend some time with my brother and my dad. And we went fishing and kind of, bonded. I felt like I was like, man, this is what I've been missing. Living on the East Coast and living in Europe is actually just the simplicity of life and connecting with the earth. And during a visit to Oklahoma City, I went to Red Earth, which is it's a kind of it's been a staple Indian art market, in central Oklahoma for decades. It's still going.
Yep.
And I was like, I didn't really know anything about, the Indian art markets or Indian art world. I'd been outside of things for so long, and I was like, there's a whole community here, of like-minded people, and it seems like a supportive community. And I was like, maybe there's a place there for me, and my my brother, you know, he was like, you could do this, and I was like, man, I don't think so. You know, the old question of like, I don't know if I'm Indian enough to do that, you know?
Right. Yeah.
And you know, a couple of years later, I got up the courage to actually do it, you know, and things changed for me, you know.
Yeah.
And it kind of sent me on my way, and that was 2010.
Yeah. Well, you have to embrace not only art, you have to embrace something else too.
Yeah, you got to embrace yourself as a Native person, and say this is who you are, this is what you represent, and you also have to make yourself available to your community.
Yeah.
You know, otherwise you're just living in your own bubble.
Yeah.
You know, and just to kind of wander through life, kind of unaware of who you are inside and who your people are.
Yeah, and it's been there the whole time. I mean,
it's been there waiting. Yeah, I think so. It was just sort of this sort of latent, you know, voice that was waiting to awaken.
Yeah,
in a way, and it did, you know, in kind of a big way. And
yeah, what was that like when you really kind of recognized, you know, because you know 7 generations of your family.
Yeah, I can, you know, list, you know, my family, at least on the maternal side, going back to late 1700s, and it's all through documentation, mainly for the U.S. government, through censuses, through the rolls, and I'm proud to know that history. I know some of it on the European side, on the, you know, it's like Irish and I think some German on the other side of the family, but going back and finding these documents and reading about the family name Hardridge, it's really kind of a tumultuous kind of history, and it's interesting for sure, and it's taught me a lot about myself, and I've been able to expose more about Muskogee culture to my kids than my father ever handed to me. Just because I think, you know, growing up in the 1950s, there was a certain aspect of it that was, unless you were, you know, country and traditional Native, you know, a lot of that culture got suppressed, you know, for Natives living in urban areas. Yeah, and it's something that his dad never talked about. I think he ran away from home at a young age, you know, and ran away to Texas and married a non-Native person and just sort of assumed this kind of quiet urban life. Right. Yeah, it wasn't actually in vogue to be Native during the 1950s or anything other than white. You know.
Yeah, no, that's very true.
And to have a biracial family on top of that was you know, I mean, he remembers getting kicked out of cafes, you know, with his mother because he couldn't sit down with his dark children. Yeah. You know.
Yeah, and wasn't he the one that had on his birth certificate or something?
Oh, well, I'm talking about my dad. Yeah. This was my dad, you know, in the 1950s. But yeah, his father, on his birth certificate, it says race, and it's in bold letters, it says red. Yeah. It doesn't say Native American, you know, it doesn't say Caucasian, it doesn't say African American. They listed you as black, white, red, and I guess yellow, but I don't know if there was too many Asians being born in America during that time.
When you saw that had to
it had an impact on me. I was like, it red?
Yeah.
You know, and I was like, how, you know, it was scathing in a way.
Of course.
You know? Red. That's the way that you're not looked at as a human being. You're looked at as you know, strictly a color. Something other than white.
Yeah. Because I'm interested in that, finding that moment that you go, this is something this is what's missing not only from me, but my art.
Yes, yeah, and to find these documents, it really did give me a sense of a place of history, and this is where these people were, you know, and what will you become as a human being, you know, and this is what makes you what you are, but it's also, you know, what you will become is what makes you are, makes you what you are, and I don't know, it's fertile ground for creating art, you know.
Oh yeah,
and you know, that's the eternal search. Is like, what am I going to say next? You know, what am I saying with the art?
Right. And do you think that's kind of it, really, in a way? I mean, you found a way to say something with your art versus you're doing all these different types of art, but it's not really translating to you having a voice?
I think that everybody wants that authentic voice.
Yeah.
You know, not everybody finds it.
No, they don't.
And you know, I started because when I was always interested in painting pictures of Indians.
Yeah.
But they're just pictures of Indians. You know, it's like Indians painting Indians or Native people, and but what are you saying? What can you say with it? Sometimes I just like to make something that's beautiful, aesthetically beautiful, that has you know, meaning only to me.
Yeah.
But other times, you know, we're going through a time of great change, and it's you cannot help but to reflect on some of what's going on around you, and to have some sort of opinion about the events that are happening. And to have a viewpoint that is unique to people that are indigenous.
Yeah.
And also American at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I think both those things are important. It's like it's a unique place to be in.
Yeah, your twin brother goes to the Marines.
Yeah, he goes to the Marines, and then he eventually becomes a high-powered mortgage loan officer in Oklahoma City, and is extremely successful.
Yeah.
He's a dark-skinned native living in the non-native world, you know, and is very successful. And here I am, the lighter version, you know, trying to dredge my way through the Native American art world.
Yeah.
And so it's a strange juxtaposition, but I guess we all gravitate where we're supposed to be.
Yeah, that's right. You're definitely where you're supposed to be.
I hope so. You know,
sure.
I feel like this is the place that I was always. I think these paintings have been waiting for me.
Of course.
You know, I think that's kind of a strange thing to say, but sometimes I'll look at the things that I make and I'm like, where did it come from? You know, where did the idea? And I guess it's the whole thing about the muse,
right?
That it speaks to you when it's time. You know, and I don't think I say that I make random things sometimes, but I don't think they're completely random. I think it's things that maybe I think about years before, and then when the time is right, you know, it just kind of pops up, you know, and things they become more significant down the line, and they take on more meaning, and especially to the to other people. I've painted people that have passed on. I've painted things that seem to like come to pass in some other strange way in the future, which I think is really strange aspect to the making art.
That's tapping in, though.
It's tapping into a different, like maybe ancestral vibes coming through the ether. I don't know if it sounds crazy or what, but
not to me.
I believe that, you know, art can transcend time and space and connect us with those who have passed and those who are coming forward in the future.
Yeah. Well, when you look at your paintings, they have emotion. There's an emotion in there. Each one of them. Even your abstracts have that too.
Oh, thank you. I you know, I do, as much as I like, you know, doing realistic figures and landscapes and things like that. To me, there's something even deeper in the abstract world that ventures off into the spiritual realm.
Right.
Because we can release ourselves from the physical bonds and tap into an energy that is a part of the universe. Yeah. You know, this coming together and breaking apart of natural forces. Can sometimes manifest themselves in abstraction and the expressionism.
Yeah.
And you know, I used to think that, you know, these people are doing that kind of work because they can't draw or paint. But to me, now that I have a little bit more developed outlook on art and things that it's very mental game. You know, it's
hard.
It's chess. It's balance. And it's really deep thinking process. You know, I don't think there's anything that is I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Well,
you can get lost in it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think people sometimes look at abstraction and they go, "Well, my kid could do it." But the reality is, if your kid can do it, I want to know him.
Yeah, exactly.
Really, I want to know him as.
I had somebody come into a booth one time and look at some of my graphic abstract stuff. Said my kid could do that.
Yeah. Here's
the paper. It was upsetting. I was like, "Well, where's his booth at? I want to check it out."
Yeah. Well, and then if you look at native art, you know, parfleche bags and Navajo textiles and all those are beautiful abstractions, and then, you know, early, way before there was abstract art.
Oh yeah, and there's a whole. I mean, there's a whole sacred ceremonial aspect to that too.
Yeah, I'm sure.
The way that ceremonies are laid out, the way that grounds are laid out.
Yeah.
And the way that they connect to the heavens and the stars and the moons and the turning of the seasons, and that whole agricultural society it's all based on, you know, the geometric shapes.
Yeah.
And a lot of that has, you know, was transitioned into the historical arts.
Yeah.
And now those historical, you know, arts are being brought forth into modern art. So there's a long legacy of those shapes and those meanings.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen that for a while. I'm like, these are the first abstract expressionists.
Yeah, absolutely. You know? Absolutely. The ancient ones.
Yeah.
And just creating just the basic things.
Yeah, beautiful members pottery
with
and things. My
really
God.
deep intent and you know,
spiritual.
Yes, yeah.
You know, and so I don't see it as very far away from what you're doing when you do these figurative works that have spiritual and emotional significance to just abstracting it to forms, and especially if you can relate it to your own religion, your own culture. I mean, to me, that's the same. That's why I say they have the same emotional sense to me when I look at both of them, because it's the same artist making them, you, right?
Yeah, to me, it's a part of the same cyclical story.
Yeah.
And it builds in compounds year after year. Yeah. And sometimes I don't always understand, you know, what I'm making at the time, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
Later down the line, I'm like, oh, okay. You know, I'll learn something that will, you know, say that, you know, wow, that's why I created this.
Probably so.
But also, there's a lot of life that you have to live that's going to inform what you're going to make, and so I mean, it's a lot to compound and just, you know, making a simple painting.
Right. Well, let's talk about simple paintings, because you do pointillism.
Yes, which is everything but simple.
It's to me it would be maddening. It takes a very specific personality and stick-to-itness and just, I would say, almost OCD to just be able to able to do that.
Yeah, and I'm not OCD. I've been doing it long enough now where I have it down to a method.
Yeah.
I have it down to a science, and I know that there's a means to the end.
Yeah.
In the beginning, all I had was faith. I was like, please, God, you know, this is going to take me forever.
Forever.
I hope something comes of it. And the first piece I did was probably about 16 by 20 maybe.
Right.
And I was just kind of experimenting with the material. And I was using, I wanted a black background, so I had some black plaster. I was a decorative painter, so I was experimenting with Venetian plaster. And I had put it down on the canvas because I wanted, I'd been looking at bandolier bags. Yeah. And a lot of the bandolier bags, you know, they were from the Muskogee Creek and southeastern tribes.
Yeah, beautiful abstraction.
Cherokee were beaters too. They were beating on dark wool, and and the beads really popped off.
Right.
And I wanted to go on a black background to have that same effect. And I think I might have been even using like nail polish or something like that, some strange material, because I wanted to get a glassy metallic feel. And my wife says, "Oh, you should use nail polish."
Yeah.
And this is all coming out of a place of ignorance. You know, I didn't know if it was going to work or not.
But also culture, because you're looking at the bandolier bags.
Yes, and I'd never seen a bandolier bag until it was probably 2014. I was in the museum in D.C., the Smithsonian, and I had seen a bag that was recovered from the Battle of Horseshoe Bend in Alabama, and it blew my mind. I mean, I'd really never seen Muskogee Creek beadwork up close, and it was really had all these undulating natural forms, biomorphic forms, a lot of organic floral shapes in it, and just bold colors. And it was nothing like the plains, Southern Plains beadwork that I'd seen in Oklahoma, because it was all kind of flat and geometric. And so I got really excited about it, you know, and I was in a show, invited to be in a show called Return from Exile, and it was all Oklahoma southeastern tribes, 5 civilized tribes, and the aspect of the show is that they were going to take all these artists from Oklahoma and take the show to different venues that went back through the Trail of Tears, back through the southeast, and then go all the way down to Florida and then come back up, you know. Went down on the southern route and then came back up on the northern route, I think. And it was covering aspects of resilience, resistance, you know, and, of the tribes and how we survived the Trail of Tears. And I was thinking about the things that were lost along the way. And one of the things for the Creek Nation was beadwork, because not too many people, if any, were doing beadwork after the Trail of Tears. And I was thinking about, you know, basketry, beadwork, pottery, and how all these forms had developed over time, you know, from shell carving to pottery, and how those forms have informed the beadworkers. And I was like, well, I'm really informed by the beadwork too. You know, how can I take all these technologies and bring them forward into a modern sense and bring it into painting? How am I going to represent that? And I was like, the only way I can do it is through dots and create that form, you know, because I'd studied trompe l'oeil. I was like, maybe I can make a trompe l'oeil technique that would represent some of these forms. And then it went from that space into, you know, a whole other realm, with actually going beyond graphics and creating, you know, formal paintings from that point. Developed into almost, you know, a really traditional kind of high style for me, where I was doing realism.
Did you immediately have a connection with the viewers? Did they go, oh, this is something?
Well, they said it was definitely different. I got compared to Aboriginal art in the beginning, and I had seen some of the dot painting, the Aboriginal dot paintings before. You know, they were on a kind of a bigger scale, and that wasn't exactly what I was trying to do. I was trying to, you know, do storytelling, you know, in this form, and I always saw that beadwork, you know, did tell a story. It's 3-dimensional painting in my eyes, and but I think this is something different. This is a new painting style that is informed from the past, and, you know, has a modern feel to it, that takes painting out of the context of the brush. So in my mind, I was kind of decolonizing the idea of applying paint to a surface by doing this. You know, I was recontextualizing the paint itself, or at least the application, into these fine dots that I was applying with a needle. Actually,
I wondered about that, because they're so perfectly round.
People ask me if it's a brush, but it's not. It's actually, I used several different things in the beginning. I was using a stylus, where I would actually dip it in the paint and then make it dot by dot. And I was like, this is not going to work. This is taking way too long. I can't control the flow of the paint. So I settled on I found these little bottles with these little needles, and it was originally used for injecting glue into fine joinery for woodworking. And I was like, I can use this to deliver the acrylic paint that I want, and I can control the velocity of the paint through the bottle. It has sort of an accordion kind of
because there's a lot goes
squeeze.
into this.
Yeah. There's a lot that goes into it. You have to control the size of the dot. I'm working within 1/16 of an inch square, and but I mean, they've actually gotten smaller and smaller over the years.
Why is that? Do you think?
Why is it?
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to control the amount of color being put on the surface. Because it's not just solid bands of color anymore. When I'm doing the portraiture, I'm building up the color from dark to light. Because I'm starting on a black background.
Right.
So I have to work dark to light, to the lightest light. Instead of working on a white canvas, and then going dark.
So we need more dots.
Well, I'm stacking the color.
Yeah.
In different gradations of color and bringing it up to the surface.
And you start this in 2014?
I started experimenting with the technique in 2014, messed around with it for about a year. And by 2016, I really had it down. And that's when I walked into Blue Rain Gallery and got noticed by them.
Yeah, they're smart. They probably saw it immediately. They understood.
Yeah, they, I do hats off to Leroy Garcia for giving me the shot there.
Yeah.
And putting me on. And I really had not had the chance to exhibit in any markets or enter any competitions or anything like that. It hadn't really been exposed to anybody. I really kept it in the closet for a long time.
And that was done purposely?
I was still developing the technique, and I was going, it was during a period where I was having some trouble in my life, and I was, trying to, hold down a job, and, I had young kids, and
right.
My wife at the time, she was like, you need to focus on real life rather than chasing the
dream.
art dream. And so I had a lot of inner turmoil there, just trying to kind of cope and say, is this worth going after?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a big thing. And you're middle-aged at that point.
Yeah, I was probably, 40 years old, around then, when I was coming into this. And then once it took off, I was like, I've got to pursue it, And it's just gotten better over the years, the more I've matured and, put more dedication into what I'm doing. And I'm constantly trying to push the envelope and make the paintings better and better.
Yeah.
And it's gone from just a graphic kind of style to just really... I really have delved into the whole chiaroscuro aspect of going for those really dark darks. I'm really into Caravaggio and bringing the drama with the dark and the light. So I'm thinking about a lot of things. When I'm making the paintings, I'm thinking about fabric. I'm thinking about beadwork. I'm thinking about European influences.
Right, all your faux painting things that you've done in the past too.
Exactly. I'm bringing it all in, and but also with the knowledge of contemporary native art world.
Yeah, of course.
There's so many things to take into consideration. I would hope that I would never be put into a box, a certain style.
You definitely won't be.
One of my good friends, Dr. Bill Wiggins, he's one of my early collectors. He's like, sometimes I not sometimes, all the time, I come out here and I see the people do the same thing over and over and over and over. And it's tempting. You get something that sells, you want to do it again and again and again.
Right.
Yeah, but I never wanted to be a one-trick pony,
Yeah.
And that's probably why I've bounced around a lot. My subject matter is I'm a restless person, and I'm always looking for a challenge and growth, and then also something that it will set you apart, from the crowd, And I was like, man, no one else is going to be crazy enough to do this.
They won't.
Because I know how, I mean, everybody wants to get through that painting as quick as possible, you know, and get it out there and present it to people, you know, and I'm in the back of my mind, is it good enough to even show, you know? And I was like, well, I know if I just spend a little bit more time and a little bit more time on this and a little bit more time, something's gonna come of it, you know. The more I truly believe, the more energy and time you put into something, the better it's gonna be.
Yeah, that's especially, I think, with what you do.
Yeah, it's commitment for sure.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, it has to be a little daunting sometimes when you have a big piece you want to do and that first dot. It's like
the first dot, yeah,
because
like,
you know the road, you know what's coming up.
Yeah. Especially, I mean, for me, a big size is 36 by 48. I know that it's absolutely going to be a 6-week commitment. Yeah, you know, and that's working, you know, at least 50 hours a week. Yeah. And I have done, in my early career, I did a painting that was 6 foot by 4 foot. Oh my. And that took me 3 months off and on. But now I think I could probably do that in maybe a month and a half or 2 months. Yeah. Just maybe not a month and a half, but maybe 2 months. Yeah. But I try not to go that big. I just sold a 48 by 48 sized painting to the Ulrich Museum in Wichita State in Kansas. Yeah. And that painting took it took a while, you know. Yeah. Definitely, I think 6 weeks. Yes. And that's working pretty fast. Absolutely. It's working pretty fast, but it's tedious, you know. I work flat. Yeah. On some of the portraits, I will put it on the wall and, you know, get that portrait right in front of my face, just for accuracy. And then also where it is on the canvas, because you can only reach so far. Oh, that's true. Right? Yeah. So, you know, I work flat, but then I'll have like a couple of books going across the canvas, and then about a 3-inch thin wooden stick that goes across that I rest my hand on. So I'm resting right above the canvas, and I'm just sitting there doing this all day long. But I'm not doing that motion. I'm squeezing the paint one dot at a time. So I get this carpal tunnel thing happening with my wrist. I'm like, how many years can I actually do that? Yeah, I wonder how many dots are in millions. Yeah, I would millions, think, right? Yeah, it's crazy. And you're in a lot of museum collections already, right? My first museum in the Eiteljorg, right here. Yeah, the Eiteljorg has 2 pieces. Booth? No, not the booth. I saw Seth. I haven't talked to him yet, but let's see. The Eiteljorg, the governor's mansion too, right? In Oklahoma City, don't they have the Capitol building? Capitol building. Yeah. That's a proud one. That's a portrait of Chief Wellman Mankiller. Oh, very cool. The first female chief elected to a tribe. Yeah, and then there's a couple pieces in the Cowboy Hall of Fame. Yeah, that's right. The Western Heritage Museum, the Philbrook. Yeah. The National Museum of Wildlife Art, and then Seminole Nation Museum, 5 Tribes Museum in Oklahoma, and then the Creek. Yeah, all the creeks have quite a big collection. So yeah, I've done some significant pieces. Yeah, that's impressive for basically 11. Well, really, 10 years basically of really putting it out there. Yeah. There's been I would say a decade of really dedicating myself and trying to strive for excellence. My wife has to put up with me like pining over the painting and hating everything. She's like, he hates everything that he makes until he sells. Yeah. You know, and but I don't know. I guess, is that the goal, to get things in museums, or just to simply make? I think that if I wasn't selling, I would still have to make art because I'm compulsive. Of course you would. Yeah, there's nothing, you can only do with that. That's what you're meant to be. Since 9 years old. Mm-hmm. I think the goal is to create, you know, and the secondary way to be able to make sure that always is something you can do and live is through
museum collections and important private collections to get it out to the world. I think that's important.
Yeah. And I love, you know, it's great to go into a gallery and sell paintings, but often they just go and live above somebody's couch or in their hallway or whatever. I like the idea of art being presented on a public level, and to be in museums and to be there for educational purposes for other people, because I know what it's like to be a kid and be impacted by art.
Yeah,
and the way
Monet,
I felt,
right?
The way I felt going into the Cowboy Hall of Fame and seeing great masterful paintings that now that I'm hanging in proximity with. It's gratifying, you know, and it helps to give me purpose. And when it impacts somebody else and they reach out to me and say that they've been touched by this art, that's why I do it.
Yeah.
And to see my daughter, man, she's such a good artist.
Nice.
She's so good, man. And I hope that she has a chance to go to SCAD or IAI.
Yeah.
She'll be able to do anything. I think she's, you know, savant, you know, whatever she chooses to do.
That's so beautiful.
She's far beyond what I was when I was 13 years old. She's 13 now.
Yeah.
But she's good. She's really good.
And she's probably seeing those milestones too.
Yeah, and she grew up in an art house. You know, I've been a painter. Her mother's an interior designer.
Yeah.
So she always had studio space. You know, always made sure that she had art materials available. And you know, to see that growth in somebody else,
right,
is like, wow, man! That's great. That's really great, you know. And even if she doesn't, she can appreciate the art.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
I feel bad for people who don't get to be exposed to art. It's such an important
and
part of
I've met them, you know. Like I've met people that say I've never been to a museum before, and I'm just like, how can you live life without being touched by you know this beauty? I guess it's easy to walk around and be desensitized, you know, and just get up and go to work and not listen to music every hour of the day or look at art or create art. But I mean, I'm really truly gifted that I've been able to live this life.
Yeah.
And to feel and appreciate the world around me in such a way, it's a blessing. And I don't think that I could survive any other way. I could, but I would be completely miserable.
Yeah, you would be horrible.
I would be, and I would be a horrible person because you know, the way you perceive life and you feel about things inside is what you're projecting out into the world.
Yeah. And
I think that you know, having this practice, having this discipline in my life has made me a better person.
Oh yeah.
Because I haven't always been great. You know, I was never great. But what I'm trying to say is that I come from a troubled background, and I think that just growth and maturity, it comes with time, but it also comes with, you know, discipline and just being in right relation with the world around you. I think is important. And you know,
and introspection too.
Yeah, introspection to be self-examining.
Yes,
is important. And then not everybody's has that self-awareness.
No,
and when you're constantly critiquing your own work, you have no choice but to critique yourself. You know, as a human being.
Yep.
You know.
Well, each one is you when you put it out there.
It's like what must I become today?
Yeah.
You know, what person must I become to be better, and to make this a better painting, and you know, what color is not singing harmoniously? I mean, because that's the ultimate goal. You know, to be harmonious in nature, to seek balance in all things, and to achieve balance in a painting. That is. I think that is the point of life, and to feel this place of gratitude.
Yeah,
because you can't, you know, you can't be unhappy if you're grateful, right?
Yeah, gratitude is one of the most important things and you can do for yourself.
Yeah, you will never be unhappy if you're grateful for your life and the things that you have around you, and it's easy to kind of put all that in the back burner when you get so you get so caught in the rat race of life, paying bills and
right.
What are we gonna have for dinner and
right.
what's going on in the news. And,
right.
But I don't have to worry about any of that this weekend because I'm at the Eiteljorg and
right.
I have all this beautiful artwork and
right. Surrounded by
with
creators, which is the
Joe Rogan of art podcasting here.
You hear that, Joe? You know,
it's an honor.
It is a wonderful thing to be around creative people, and an event like this is just a joy. You know, and getting to take the time to spend and talk to you. We've met at 2 or 3 different shows: Indian Market, Blue Rain, you know, New York City, you know, and we've talked, but it's nice to have this quiet moment where I get to see who Starr is besides just the dot, you know, the imagery, because behind every one of those dots is you know, and that's, you know, and I think we got to see behind the harmonious of the color, you know, which is very good. I appreciate it, man.
Very good.
Yeah, fun. Anything else we need to talk about we missed?
Oh, I'm sure there's tons of things, but you had listened to me ramble for a good bit.
No, you got the shout out to the wife. That's critical.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the kids. Yeah, and your family. So yeah, I'm excited to watch your trajectory.
Thank you, Mark.
I have very high hopes that you know, you'll be like, oh yeah, I think I did a podcast with that guy once.
Well, I know your roster of artists, and it's just a really surreal moment to go and create some of these paintings that are on the wall downstairs.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
Listening to your podcast, and now we're here in the present tense.
Yeah.
It really does feel like living in the dream.
Yeah, you earned the dream, dude.
Yeah, well,
you did.
I hope so. It's been such a great reception
of
artists. You know, everybody's interested in the work.
Yeah.
You know, it's something that is different. That isn't conventional.
Yeah.
Because one of the gifts they gave us was a brush holder, and I was like, I don't know what to do with this.
Give it to your daughter.
You know, yeah. Well, I've got tons of brushes.
Yeah.
You know, I do use them for glazing, but I was making a joke, and it was funny. But it's great to be here and to, you know, start at the Eiteljorg Indian Market level, and then be able to be brought in here to the big show. It's just it's humbling.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's that gratitude. Yeah. Yeah. Cool, dude.
Yeah.
Thank
you so much.
I really enjoyed it. Yeah. Thank you for taking the time. It's a busy week for you, and this takes effort to do, and I appreciate you taking the time to do it.
Oh, yeah. I wouldn't miss it. If you're in Santa Fe or I definitely want to come to Tucson and check out the gallery and the museum there.
Yeah. Well, when we talked in August about doing a podcast, you are one of those individuals I really want to do in person.
Wow, I really appreciate that. Yeah.
I need to see your eyes. I need to feel that energy. You can't get the same thing sometimes on a Zoom. I mean, this is
right, and there's energy, and there's
for sure
there's an awkwardness that I think that everybody had to go through, and there's like almost kind of like a stigma left over from COVID, where, you know, people are used to communicating through technology rather than having human experience.
No, I love being able to do this.
Because there's a lot of dead air, you know, and, you know, glitches in time and
just
space.
Everything.
Yeah.
The smallest of facial
I couldn't appreciate
muscles.
Your fabulous shirts.
Yeah, sorry about that. I was like,
you know, if I wasn't sitting with you.
I need the color to just make me feel me.
Yeah. Yeah,
you know?
Yeah, and those shirts that you wear, that's a part of the art of Mark Sublette.
I guess, but it makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Every day I go, how do I feel? What color do I feel? What do I
love it.
You know, and it's like, okay, this is, and every once in a while I'll put white on.
Yeah.
Or a black shirt.
I can't see you in anything but like fabulous color.
There'll be lots of jewelry on, I can assure you, if it's like that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But
I covet your jewelry for sure.
Yeah.
That bracelet is fantastic. Who did that?
I know, somebody wanted to buy it. It's like, you can't buy my bracelet.
All right.
You know, it's 1910, it's Dene, and it's just, I love the imperfections of all the colors and the beautiful stones and the workmanship and the wear, and it fits, and
that's
it's
great.
Just, you know, a bracelet should feel like you don't know it's there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't. In fact, I feel weird if I don't have it on. It's like, oh, what happened, you know? So I need them on at all times, you know. And the turquoise is, you know, it's a spiritual healing, whatever.
Sure.
I've worn it since I was a kid.
Yeah, it feels good to have it on.
It feels odd not to have it on. You know, I can't understand not having that on me. So it's just who I am, you know.
Excellent.
Just who you are. I love the hat, you know.
Yeah, you know, I'm a follically challenged man.
Yeah.
But my grandfather, on my mom's side, was a hat man, you know, and he wore Stetsons for years. So a lot of my style comes from my grandfather, Morris Stewart.
Yeah.
And, you know, he was a self-made man that came out of World War II in the Depression era, and went to work in the oil fields and made it big as a wildcatter. You know, and he had farms and ranches when I was growing up, and I learned my work ethic, you know, hauling hay and painting pipe corral fencing, and
that's tough
digging
work.
fruit trees, and stocking ponds, breaking ice in the winter for the, you know, cattle and horses to drink out of, and so a lot of who I am comes from that. You know, and he was that kind of Western tough guy. You know. And boots and Stetsons, and I just I feel comfortable in a hat.
Well, that's all you, but you're also a very sensitive man.
Oh, incredible! I'm a huge crybaby. I almost started bawling talking about my daughter.
No, I mean, you're a very sensitive man. I think a lot of creators.
I have a hard time shutting off emotion, and that's just what I am. And I don't think paintings would be the same if I was stone faced.
Oh,
you know.
No.
You
have to channel that stuff.
Oh yeah. I don't see it as and I tell this to my son all the time, that it's not a weakness to show your emotions. You know, there's a time and a place for everything, but it's okay to be upset. It's okay to cry.
That's right.
And to be in your feels. Sometimes we need that to get us through certain times.
Absolutely.
Because it's cleansing to let the emotion out, and it's real. And I question people that have no emotion. It's a part of the coloring of life, and it's a coloring of my palette, and that's who I am.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, there's this part of the authentic self.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, empathy.
Human, you know, that's what we are. You know, I mean, we're on our quick path to being cyborgs, you know.
God,
I will resist all the way.
Good. Well, I'm excited to see your all the new work that you'll be doing in the next few years, and you know, just keep doing what you're doing. Yeah,
we'll do.
All right, Starr.
All right.
Yeah, that's a one name thing now, really.
Nah, I'm a Hardridge.
No way.
Always Hardridge.
Yeah, it's funny. One of my people in my next book, it's a woman, but her name is Starr with 2 R's.
No, I get mistaken for a woman all the time. People online, if they don't see my picture of me, they'll say they or them or her. Yeah. Because a lot of the stuff is has sort of a feminine edge. I paint a lot of Native women.
You do.
A lot of the colors are soft.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a softness to the pointillism.
Yeah, there is.
You know, it's in the billowiness of the ribbon dresses that I paint. In some of the pastel colorings, you know, I like pinks and purples and light blues.
True. It is interesting. You pick a lot of female subjects.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're a matrilineal culture in the Muskogee Creek Nation. Yeah, and the women are the keepers of the clans and tribal towns, and you know, they hold a very high place in the culture, and so they should be, you know, have a high place in society, you know, and it's not always that way. Yeah. And you know, they're essential to life. Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
and your paintings too.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and you can't go wrong with a beautiful face. Yeah, and that's what I like to portray. You know.
Great, man. All right, let's go have fun.
All right.
All right, thank you. All right, Starr Hardridge.